Can I recreate Mario Party in Super Mario Maker 2? Let's find out. Today, I'm going to be recreating a board and creating 4 separate minigames into one level. Let's get straight into it. So I started off in the project by changing the game style to New Super Mario Bros. U, and it was looking much better. Next, I started by creating the starting area. Boom. So now we gotta start heading to the Cloud Ward for this one, and I thought to recreate Mario's Rainbow Castle from Mario Party 1, so I started doing it by outlining the board. And it was going pretty bad to start, as I really didn't like the ice walls, but I mainly kept them in at the beginning just to see where I was going with it. I started adding more cloud platforms, coins, backgrounds whatsoever, and it still looked pretty bad. So in the end, I got rid of the walls and kind of kept it more open world-like, which I do think was a better choice and looks much better. Now that it's like this, I'm going to add some vines to add for some good climbing, and also some bridges for good transportation. I also added mushroom platforms, coins, and kind of the castles from the game. It is slightly off, obviously, but I don't think it looks that bad in the end. And some good coins for playability matter. And in the end, it was looking like not that bad of a board as it was earlier. So I do think in the end we created a decent board, but it could have been better 100%. Now for the mini games. The first one I'm creating is an original called Goomba Stumble. It's pretty similar to some other Mario Party minigames, but I started by adding the intro and exit pipes, and then started creating a timing mechanic where a timer would break the floor beneath you and causing you to die. So I started by adding a cannon with a Buzzy Beetle shell that would eventually hit a line of bricks that I create, as you can see. And then at the end, there would be an on and off switch. Here's how that will look in the end. As you can see, the Buzzy Beetle shell is bouncing back and forth, and when it hits the switch, Mario dies. Next, I actually started working on the main minigame mechanic, which is, of course, killing the Goombas. So I started by adding fire burners going up, keeping the Goombas locked in place. Then I added a one-way wall going down, so Mario cannot jump inside. Then I started working on the Tower of Goombas, which is very tall, and then I placed it inside, and they will not be moved around. And with this, I added a spiny shell at the beginning so you can actually kill the Goombas with your head, and some fire bars for some extra difficulty matter. And here's the minigame. Next, I'll be recreating platform Peril. So, in this minigame, obviously, you're jumping over platform trying to survive. Now, in this one, I started with thinking I'd be using the same thing I used for the last minigame with the timer, but I eventually changed that, put it above, and put a bunch of blocks on the track. And some faster than others, and some different sizes. And it was turning out decent. And I also kept the exit pipe blocked by on-off blocks. And then I kept it so nobody can cheat by adding spike blocks, because you know there's going to be some of those playing this level. And I kept the key to where you can grab it, and it was turning out pretty decent. Here's the level. The third minigame I was creating was called Spikeball Smash. And basically, you'd use a Buzzy Beetle helmet to knock a spike ball into an on-off switch. I started by creating a platform and giving it a theme. I originally thought I'd be using a claw with a spike ball for this on a track, but that was eventually changed to a spike. but we'll see that later. I started putting gates around the door, but that was eventually changed to a different style than I show here. And yes, the claw was eventually removed and replaced with Spike. But as you can see now, it's turning out to be a decent little setup. But there were some issues I was having with the system at this point. You can kill Spike, which we do not want. So I added a one-way wall to block any incoming Spike balls his way. And it was now working, and we cannot kill Spike. Next, I added some coins to kind of direct the player on what they're meant to do, because they might not know. So obviously I made a little trail showing they have to hit something up to the on-off switch, as you cannot jump that high regularly. I added a background, and the minigame was pretty much done, and it looked pretty good. The final minigame I'm creating today is called Color Quest. Thanks to Aristotle for the idea. So if you didn't know, in Mario Maker 2 New Super Mario Bros. Wii Cloud, these semi-solid platforms, when you overlap, the color shade actually changes and they get less transparent. So that's the whole idea behind this minigame, is that you gotta choose the one that's different. So as you can see, I'm placing 3 different columns, each with a green semi-solid, but one of them is slightly darker. I'm not going to tell you which one, but some of them are good, some of them are bad, and you got to choose the correct path. Now, some have spikes and some are going to be safe, as you can see here. And this was originally by the YouTuber named Aristotle. He made a tutorial and I follow it. Now, as you can see, I added a thwomp because I'm going to make a second section because I feel like one section's a little too short. So I'm going to add a second one going down now with red semi-solids. So, you know, that's looking pretty good, and there will be skewers if you go the wrong place. And this minigame is pretty simple to create. So yeah, this is a pretty shorter one, but it's pretty cool. So here's the minigame. And now we're at the end. So as you can see, I'm adding some key doors to end off the level, because of course you get 4 keys throughout it. And this is the end of the level basically, as I'm about to add the flagpole, and that's basically it. And that was basically a recreation of Mario Party and Super Mario Maker 2. Now there are obviously things I didn't do, like add a dice mechanic, an actual board movement mechanic. It's kind of just a level, but I think it turned out well. And I think this is a somewhat decent recreation, as I had some original mini games. I added like one that was actually from an actual Mario Party. So I think this was a decent level, and I will be posting the level code up on screen right now. And that is recreating Mario Party in Super Mario Maker 2.